Matt from InvestiQuant. Today is Thursday, November 5th, 2020. This morning, the markets gapped up sizably, and since then, we have held on to the gains. We pushed higher off of the open and pulled back to test the open here early in the afternoon session, where buyers stepped back in again, and we are starting to drift back towards the highs, but basically trading in the range that was set here in the first hour or so of trading. And I'm looking here specifically at the S&P, which is the top left chart. The NASDAQ, though, is fairly similar, as is the YM, which is the Dow down here in the bottom right chart. The Russell's been a bit stronger, but we've basically gapped up this morning. We pushed higher and have since kind of consolidated in that initial opening range made in the first 60 minutes. But we're about to get the FOMC announcement here shortly, so I figured we would just take a quick look at what has happened historically following the FOMC announcement in a similar environment. So let me go ahead and set this up and discover, looking at all four instruments. Intraday time-based entry at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. So this is based upon entering the market long at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, and that's about 30 minutes after the announcement comes out. And then we will have an exit set at the end of the day, which was 4:15 p.m. Eastern time. For opening filters, I'm simply going to use gap up, try to keep as many samples as possible. And then I'm going to go into the indicator section, put us in a similar environment, which would be above a 10-day simple moving average, above a 200-day simple moving average. And lastly, in the market events section, this is where we can find all of our higher tiered market events, like the FOMC announcement. It is right here in the middle. I'm going to hit equals next to that to add it to the test, and then hit view results. And here we go. So these are the results of going long at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time when you gap up on FOMC announcement day in a bullish environment. Historically, we've got 42 samples in the S&P, 47 in the NASDAQ, 37 in the Dow, 37 in the Russell. And if we look at the win rates on these, they're all pretty similar. You know, we looked at this study this morning off of the open, and it showed the ES was fairly weak, but the rest of them were about 50-50. And if we look here later in the day, they come in agreement here with win rates hovering around 40%. So it's historically been a bit of a weaker afternoon session following that announcement. So you've got S&P 38%, the NASDAQ 43%, the Dow 41%, and the Russell 43% on the win rate. And if we take a look at average win, average loss, you can see average loss larger than the average win here in the S&P. That's true for the NASDAQ. The Dow, pretty similar size here. Average win, average loss, and then the average loss a little bit larger than the average win in the Russell. So hopefully you found that helpful. Good luck the rest of the afternoon, and we will see you tomorrow.